and welcome back to my YouTube. Welcome back to my live stream. This is Jacob Cast 2024. I'm going to do Monday Night Raw review. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section you guys want to see more. I'm going to make this live stream like an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about the news and rumors for the shocking releases that happened today that we will go through. My video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by me from New York. Start the sound off. Good night, work comments. And Nissan Sego, Fight for Pro Wrestling. We are gonna talk about Monday Night Raw tonight. There's World Collide AAA on the 7th. Alright. Not sure where to go here. There's a lot to talk about on this show. CM Punk called The Rock his little bits. Was it The Rock? He actually brought up The Rock and John Cena. Michael Cole wears a Pacers jersey. Loses bet. CM Punk and Sami Zayn plan attack. We got the storyline with Jevon Day and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan and Wasan. Liv Morgan they have her way. Paul Heyman, he gives a strong message to AJ Styles. Wasan helped Jevon Day defeat the War Raiders. Sheamus issued a challenge to Rusev. New Day tried to manipulate Grayson Waller. Lyra brawl with Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan and Balor. Sami Zayn fight back at Karrion Kross. We got the tag team match with Sammy J versus Braun and Bronson. Ends in the DQ, I guess, because Seth got involved. He kirked out Jey Uso. We also had a very good brawl here with Kairi Sane. Io Sky helped Kairi Sane take down Raquel. Angry WWE from Archer the Parser. Stephanie Valkyra qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank, so that was a big win. It was her second match on Monday Night Raw. They reported that she's being called up to the main roster after she dropped the NXT Women's title. She came out to a big reaction. She had a tonight, very good qualifier. She's now the final participant in Money in the Bank. We'll see what happens on SmackDown. We got Wasan and Jevon Day. We got a very good brawl with Lyra and Becky. We had an interesting segment with Rhea and Stephanie. That was interesting. Sami Zayn doing the eat with Jey Uso. He's also wearing the glasses, the Sami glasses. CM Punk, huge chair, a huge problem. They ruined everything. Who won this match? Because I can't remember. Alright. Now let's check out the other podcasters.
Backstage, Rhea Ripley shook hands with Stephanie Valkyra, I guess teasing something. We then had Jey Uso and Sami Zayn going up against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, with Paul Heyman coming out there for the entrance of the duo. Production was alternating between Braun's music and Braun Breaker's music. Both of them treated like equals. And it was a fairly standard tag team match. And
alright, let's check out the other podcasters. Check out the Post Wrestling. Hold on, there's a commercial.
Yeah, like a genius in many ways. And yeah, just a real loss.
Yeah, I mean, I first met him. I want to say it was around, like, obviously I've been aware of him for a long time. We had him on the Fight Network radio show several times, but didn't really know him more than like his work. And I remember it was when we were in Winnipeg. I probably met him before, but it was when you and I covered UFC 161 in Winnipeg. And in my head was, okay, I feel like this guy could just wax poetic on anything MMA related. and would just think like this guy could be like so arrogant in person that just someone is not at his level. And I could not have been more wrong about someone who was just. I ended up hanging out with him that entire weekend, and he couldn't have been like the more of a.
Exactly today, you didn't know for sure Mariah was leaving the company, and how do you think WWE will go about her debut? Thanks for all you do. I'm pretty sure they had an idea by March or April because she wasn't brought back to TV, and I didn't hear about any creative in that sense. I don't know if they had broached a contract extension by then, but I know that by then they had a pretty good idea.
Alright, now, is there anyone else that's talking about here? We have an interesting segment, Gunther, Amaris, and Jey Uso. I probably should watch some of this, just so I can get caught up on what's going on here. Now, as for the news and rumors, I just want you guys to know there have been a couple of releases, by the way. I think there were 3 releases, one of them shocking. R-Truth been released from WWE, and fans are angry. Listen to the things that he gets. R-Truth was let go yesterday. He was fired. He was released. His contract was not renewed. This was a shocking. It actually upset fans, people backstage. People are very disappointed R-Truth was let go after 17 years being with the company. He actually started 20 years when he was
it's always fun.
when he was a different character.
I don't.
So yes, so as you guys know, SmackDown thing 3 hours better.
Didn't
John Laurinaitis flipped on Vince McMahon again on the Janelle Grant lawsuit. R-Truth makes it shocking to be exit, not renewed. A lot of people upset that R-Truth got released after all these years. A lot of people could not believe it. Now, let me get into Monday Night Raw. I actually want to get into this. Hold on a second. Now, I think I already saw the opener. I already saw the opener, so I'm just gonna show some of it.
Turn your money.
On. Alright. I already saw that, so I'm just gonna show some of it. Just gonna show y'all the rest of Monday Night Raw.
I just want to let you know that don't think your best tonight. I know that you are intellectual.
Wait, hold on a second.
Not gonna happen. Watch me.
Alright, hold on a second. Stephanie Valkyrie just made her qualifying. Okay, so Stephanie Valkyrie won. I think Roxanne got involved. I don't think she did qualify, did she?
it's not a watch or you can afford anything.
And with me buying what you're selling, right? Don't worry about Dirty Dom. I'll get back to him and the IC title. But Paul, you have known me long enough to know that I don't respond well to threats. Everybody.
So we got Sheamus, he issued one. I'm not gonna show all of it. I'm only gonna show some of these scenes on the show. Roxanne helped the Viking Raiders one. Too bad Valhalla got released. So really, like, I think it's pretty much the same thing that we did with Liv Morgan. While saying it's gonna help the Judgment Day win masses, that's exactly what Liv Morgan did last year when she was helping the Judgment Day. She would love him with Dominic, and she got him to turn on. We could be looking at the same thing. It should be a little bit different, but that's what they're leading to. Um, we had a very good segment here with Becky and Lyra.
Since you started trying to ruin my life, I have changed. But you know what that change is you're seeing, Becky? Anger. I needed to get angry. And no one in my entire life has hurt me the way you hurt me. And it is so funny to me that by trying to hold me down to hurt you, I wanted to make you better. But that's all, Jake.
Trying to separate these two.
Alright, so we got Liv Morgan, and we have a few bad dates that been. Liv Morgan confronts Finn Balor. Sami Zayn fired back at Karrion Kross. I do want to see this match for a minute. Kyrie Sane and Raquel Rodriguez. This match was alright. The match was decent. Kyrie Sane back on TV. Who won this match? Io Sky and Liv Morgan going at it. Kyrie beat Raquel. Now let's talk about this tag team match that we got. Bronson Reed's first match on Raw since coming back from injury. And then the DQ. So we got a brawl here. CM Punk gets involved. We want one. Alright, so that was it. Matt and the tag team match was very good with Sami Zayn and Jay and Braun and Bronson, but and in the DQ thanks to Seth Rollins. Gunther, Bosses, Jey Uso. What are you gonna say, Jey Uso? Alright. A lot of bad days show. Another bad day segment.
The efforts you put into being a champion. And I can see you really try to be a great champion. But because you refuse, but you'll be there for it. And 2 days before you defend the World Heavyweight Championship against me.
2
You'll
days.
be in a tag team matches at the night's main events. Because it's important to Cody. And everybody knows they can bet on their good friend Jay. All of that. Heavyweight champion. So I want to thank you. Because ever since the day I lost to you at WrestleMania, I knew I would avenge it. And right now, you're making it very, very easy for me. Jay, 1 week, the party is over. One life, one word. See you next week, G.
That was a very good one. I love that Jay was serious right there with Gunther. Now, I wonder what's gonna happen. Are we gonna is this match gonna end clean or they gonna be a fuck finish? I don't see a rematch again. You can't get given rematches every week. Alright, you know what? Since I showed not gonna show all of it. Um that was the big shock that ended the show. It looked like CM Punk will not be qualifying. El Grande Americano just punched his ticket to Money in the Bank. Chad Gable, Grande Americano, qualified Money in the Bank. I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn tried to help, but Rollins curved off Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. Grande Americano pinned AJ Styles. That was shocking. I didn't think that Grande Americano would make it. That tells me CM Punk gonna get involved. If he got screwed here, he gonna screw over CM Punk. Why are they gonna do that when it's Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? Unless if we get the return of Roman Reigns, may say shocking return, and he screws over Rollins. If that is gonna happen, we just don't know. But El Grande Americano is now the final person to qualify. He's now on the bank, so it looks like both ladder matches for men and women are set, and these were great matches. Now, granted, I didn't like the ending, but um it is what it is. Now we will talk about it with the podcasters here. R-Truth and Carlito have been released. Valhalla, she's been released. Her contract not being renewed. She had been on TV like over a year, I think. Probably because she was hurt. She's been on the developmental system. Carlito would also, to me, not so much, but Carlito been on TV every week with the Judgment. I'm actually glad he's not in Judgment Day because he wasn't needed, wasn't necessary. Carlito is a great wrestler. He'll be fine on his own. But Carlito, he didn't fit Judgment Day. As soon as I mean, think about it. If Carlito would have left Judgment Day, there was nothing for him. There was no plan for Carlito. He would just put Judgment Day and that was it.
You know?
Alright, come on. Alright. Okay, now let me see. Who's gonna be in Money in the Bank? Rollins stand tall with Bronson and Braun. Who the hell you think gonna win Money in the Bank? Cause I honestly don't know. No, really, I really don't know. So now let's see what Denise and Jonathan have to say. Wait, what?
To see Penta win.
Actually, read the super chats first. Jesus Christ, man. What the hell going on with this fucking... I am very sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I had a bad problem with my connection. Again, I hate to sick and tired of this. You know, from now on, pretty soon I'm gonna have to maybe upload on my PS5. It might be a lot more easier and a lot more better. And maybe y'all can hear me a lot better. So that way I can do my commentary and talk about this show while I'm playing 2K25. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that pretty soon. I might do it tomorrow. I don't know why, but I need to start uploading on my PS5. It might be a lot more easier. But I'm about to show y'all the podcasters who talked about this. And I'll get into more of Monday Night Raw.
You know, he's cashed in before. He had a great cash in before. But how he's the future now, and he's got his guys, and he's going to get his title back. And he did have a great run as World Heavyweight Champion. I will never forget, actually, Seth Rollins' run as World Heavyweight Champion. Probably my favorite run of World Heavyweight Champions that we've seen in this generation of WWE. So I can't even say I don't like Seth Rollins as a champion. I actually really do like him as a champion, but it's been there, seen it, done that. But so that's why I'm not necessarily too in love right now with the pool of options for the. It's just that you don't know what WWE has plans right now. Like I feel like they're trying to surprise people. They're trying to be a little bit more unpredictable in some sort of way. So I'm thinking that that's why there's a good chance that El Grande Americano could actually win. Like they're investing a whole lot in Chad Gable as luchador. Legit. That's what it feels like. Thanks so much, Mr. GRK Chef 13. We got Chris Dog here. What's up, Chris Dog? Thanks so much for the super chat. He says, hi. I don't think Steph's winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. CM Punk or Roman will screw him over. Look, dude, honestly, I'm with you, man. I can see that happening too. Like, my guess was Seth Rollins, but you can make two really good cases for why Seth Rollins could win and why Seth Rollins could lose. Like, you're right. Seth Rollins does have a lot of enemies, but when I do look at the pool of selections, he's the one that's the most realistic that would actually have a successful passion and become, champion once again. And given the way that they're propping themselves up, the way that the group is, the way it's being presented needs to be a more dominant group in order to get over. That's how I'm feeling about that. So that's why, I don't really know. Other than it does feel like you can make a good argument for both sides as to whether or not he win or lose. Thank you so much, Chris Dog. We got Day Day, who's at Monday Night Raw right now, by the way. He said, Seth buried the OTC and then left. And Punk and Sammy still in the ring, still standing. And then Punk said, how dare you chant someone out? How dare you chant someone that's not here? Oh, okay. Oh, for Roman. Okay. Because I'm sure people are probably chanting for Roman as well. Okay, that's my assumption of your super chat, Day Day. Or let us know. Usually the crowd always gets, something a little extra after the show. So hopefully you get something good. Thank you, Day Day, and hope you're continuing to have a good time at Monday Night Raw. All right, let me go ahead and get into we got another super chat. This is actually from Daniel Roberto. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel Robledo for the super and wrestling styles. He's a great freaking wrestler. Great wrestler. It's just that this character, right? We got Jay predicting Seth. We got Eric predicting Penta. Okay, we are all over the place. We got Future King here predicting Seth. Chris Dog predicting LA Knight. Day Day predicting Penta. All Things Entertainment saying LA Knight. Joseph both saying LA Knight or Penta has to win men's Money in the Bank. Lucas Jackson says LA Knight in LA. Jai Sharaf says Penta or LA Knight. I have never seen so many people have so many different choices for this one. Ivan Bravo says it's Tiempo del Grande Americano. Don the Missionary says Seth or LA. Roscoe J says Solo. Jordan says who's all in the match. Solo, LA Knight, Penta, Seth, Andrade, Grande Americano. Chris Robinson says Andrade. I love me Andrade. I do not think he's good. Little shot. Santi shows up. We got here says CM Punk being in Money in the Bank would have made Seth winning less obvious. Anyone else winning wouldn't make sense. Let's see what else we got here. Super Process Sally's had the Grande. Unless there's shenanigans involved, which there will be. So who knows? The funny part is that LA Knight's not even from Los Angeles, guys. Hometown. High school in Maryland. Gonna win, and he didn't. That is why I don't think they would riot. Thank you, Bob Ross Jr. But we got Santi in the building. Dude, come to speak now. Pro Wrestling. It is Monday, June 2nd. It's your girl Denise Salcedo, joined by Santi Zach, and we are here to talk Raw. Santi, what the hell is going on? And first of all, how are you?
I'm doing really good. If you had a gun to my head and told me,
and there's another direction that I think they're headed in that I don't want them to go into. So they got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. Santi, I think there are two options here. I think one of them is the obvious one, which is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, being part of this new group. He's a former world heavyweight champion. He's the one that has the most gravitas to be in that, main event spot. A bunch of people have been saying this, and I don't think that they're wrong, but there's a chance that this could be El Grande Americano's win too.
Listen, there is something about the possibility of El Grande Americano having the briefcase and Chad Gable not being able to celebrate it because he's selling so hard that he's not El Grande Americano, and that would be just so funny. So funny. In a world where Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are hypothetically the same person, let's pretend. Kind of wild, though, right? He's going to be in what should presumably be a very scary, high-flying match against Hijo del Vikingo a couple of hours beforehand, and it's the main event, which means it's very few hours before the show, because it's what's going to close Worlds Collide. There's going to be a lot of high-flying stuff, a lot of crazy moves in that match. If you've seen a Vikingo match, what are they doing here? Does that match have to close the show so that Chad Gable at the very least has a full show in between to be able to rest up? If he's El Grande Americano.
Dude, okay, so yeah, I definitely do think that it would have to be the main event of the night to give that some sort of gap, because that's what I was talking about earlier. I kind of hate how close these shows are together, because the show starts at noon Pacific Standard Time. So if it's a 3-hour show, let's just say it's a 3-hour show, it'll end at 3. Money in the Bank starts at 4. That gives people an hour. And I'm thinking about the wrestlers, and obviously some people, Grande Americano pulling double duty. I mean, it is one of those things where if that's the main event, then yes, that will have to be the men's Money in the Bank will have to be the main event for the night. But I don't know that I want to see a comedic Money in the Bank this year. I mean, I guess I prefer the more serious cash-ins. I know they can always be hits like that. They can always be the serious competitors. I know that, but I'm just not necessarily in love with the idea right now of El Grande Americano winning. I just think that there is a high probability that it might happen. And so I do want to ask you, though, is there anybody else that you actually see taking this? Like maybe an LA Knight, given that it's in LA?
That's my pick. I'm seeing the writing on the wall that Seth Rollins is going to get screwed over by CM Punk, maybe even Roman Reigns on this show. So he has so many people on the opposition that can prevent him from winning. If CM Punk and Roman Reigns are there to screw over Seth Rollins, all I ask is one thing. Screw over Seth Rollins during the match, not during a cash-in on the same day. Let's not do that again. All right? Let's not do the Drew McIntyre angle again. If you're going to screw Seth, prevent him from winning the Money in the Bank briefcase in the first place. For me, the other person that I'm thinking him before El Grande Americano is LA Knight. When I look at LA Knight, the position that he's been consistently been put in on Friday Night SmackDown, what he could do with that briefcase, maybe reignite the storyline with John Cena, where they were both buds a couple of years ago, now on opposing sides. I feel like LA Knight cashing in on Jey Uso would be fascinating, very different, versus Heat. And LA Knight has been the favorite to win this match over the last 2 years, maybe third time's the charm.
Well, I think we all know who winning Money in the Bank. It's either Seth Rollins or LA Knight. Grande Americano is not someone to cast on Jey Uso. It could be Solo against Jey, but he's not going to cast on John Cena unless Cody wins the title back. But I don't know when that's going to happen. Unless Cody wins the title back, then Solo wins it. That's a way. I don't want to see that. So it's either it's really between Seth Rollins and LA Knight. LA Knight has the potential to go after John Cena. If Seth Rollins wins the briefcase and he's in the casting, he gets screwed over by CM Punk or Roman Reigns. You know that Roman Reigns is going to come back and you're going to go after CM Punk. I mean, you can go after Seth Rollins. Because, Roman Reigns is not going to let him cast on Jey Uso. If Seth Rollins, we all know Seth is going to go after Jey. When Roman Reigns comes back, he's not going to let his cousin be cast in on. I don't care what Sean said. So that's not going to happen. I actually want it to happen because it's how we set up the return of Roman Reigns. You're not going to have Roman Reigns come back and just attack Seth Rollins. No, he's going to screw Seth Rollins, going to make him feel Money in the Bank.
That's what I've been thinking about. to myself because someone said, "What if LA Knight loses? The fans will riot. LA Knight fans will riot." And I'm just thinking to myself, poor LA Knight fans. They have been in this case, in this scenario, multiple times, and multiple times they have been screwed out of a victory. And back then, LA Knight was a much hotter commodity. Like people still cheer and root for LA Knight, but he's nowhere near, I think, as popular as he was, the first time around when he started to gain that buzz. The first Money in the Bank that he went into was when he had the most popularity, and so I don't know. This feels like the most conflicting Money in the Bank that we've had in maybe a second. And it's just I'm not looking forward to seeing who wins this match. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the matchup because I know Penta, Seth, and Andrade and Grande Americano, they're gonna have fun spots. Spots wise, cool. That's what you want to see in this ladder match. But I'm not necessarily too crazy about who's actually out the winner.
It just look to me. It's just like the weakest Money in the Bank. It should be a good match, but it's the weakest Money in the Bank. None of these guys are believable besides Seth Rollins. I don't think any of these guys are ready for a time. Maybe LA Knight, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. Penta's not ready. Andrade's not ready. The Americano, I don't think fans want to see that. Chad Gable is not ready for the world title. He hadn't even won a mid-card title yet. And now you're going to propel into a world title scene? That's not going to happen. So, it's either going to be Seth Rollins, or they want to give it to LA Knight, which I'd be shocked if that happened, but Seth Rollins is clearly going to win it. I think he has to win it. I know we're going to see CM Punk on the pay-per-view. He's going to try to screw him over, but it's going to be too much because Rollins had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They're going to get involved in this match. They're going to help Seth Rollins win. And then we're going to get the return of Roman Reigns. If Seth Rollins he is not cashing in successfully on Jey Uso, you know that Roman Reigns is going to come back and he's going to screw Seth Rollins and make him fail the cash in. He's not going to let him cash in on a cousin. So
Into the women's money
it's always setting up a fail for Money in the Bank.
match.
Nobody
where
winning
it's just so stacked, and I'm
Seth's
so
gonna win.
excited for that match. I'm confident the women are going to steal the show from the gimmick match perspective, like they do pretty much almost every year. Yeah, the men's look like Solo. I can't see that guy being particularly very exciting in the ladder match. Andrade, although Andrade's there for the cool spots, he doesn't add drama because he's not winning. It's a 0% chance that Andrade wins there. Meanwhile, when I look at the women, I could make a solid case for every single one of the competitors. Literally every single one. I could write you a nice 5-page essay as to why they should win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I would be correct about all 6 of them.
And so let's get into it. The women's Money in the Bank: Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and the person who qualified today after defeating Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan, we had Stephanie Buckhair. And she was the popular pick going into this. I wasn't sure if WWE would go for it or if they would go with Liv Morgan. Like those were the options, the realistic options there. And it ended up being Stephanie. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, nice. I'm so glad that she's in this match. And kind of like what you said, every single girl in here, you can make a case for them winning this match. However, my top 2, oh God, I can't even say my top 2 picks. I would say the most realistic pick. Oh God, I can't even say that. Shit. I'm like trying to think, how do I say this? I think I'm going with Naomi though. Naomi, as of right now, is my front runner only because she kind of meets she checks all of the boxes, right? She's the heel, she's a great character. She kind of needs it a little bit at a different point in her career, whereas Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, they're so new. They don't really need this right now. So that's why I'm not really thinking that they're gonna win. I'm thinking this is gonna be a win for Naomi.
I picked Naomi too in my predictions video that I did on Sunday. I feel like she fits the best. I also feel like it's an inevitability that we're going to get the big 3 triple threat. And I think that they're going to make that for the title with Naomi going in as the champion eventually. Whether it's SummerSlam, maybe as early as Women's Evolution, that would be bold to have Naomi win and cash in before Evolution. But it's clear as day that we're getting the big 3 triple threat. I think it's going to be for the title when Naomi is champion after she cashes in.
You mean for the big 3 triple threat? Are you saying
Bianca, Naomi, and Jade? That was their tag team, the big 3.
Okay, that makes more sense now. It's like, which big 3 are we talking about?
The
yeah. No, dude, I would love to see that. I was even thinking that Naomi would probably cash in at Evolution too, because they're gonna want to make the show a big deal. At least I think they should make the show a big deal. I think they should stack it as much and have as much possible news coming out of that show that you possibly can. I think Naomi cashing in, and mind you, I'm a Tiffany Stratton fan, but I do think that Naomi has been doing such a good enough job with this character that I wouldn't hate her cashing in and becoming champ.
No, I'm with you. And listen, she's gonna take that Money in the Bank briefcase in the caution tape. It's gonna look cool. They found the thing for Naomi. They found the it thing. I've always said that Naomi with her base run was always destined to be the sixth or seventh most popular babyface on the roster. With this character, she could be
I think
the
Naomi
top
been doing
heel
the best work.
in the
I agree with
company.
that too.
I
I love
genuinely
Naomi.
believe that in women's
I love
wrestling.
Naomi. She's
And one of the
awesome. She's
best
done
ways
some of
to
the best work
catapult
of her
and
career right now.
utilize the fact that
She's
you
a
found
great
a
heel.
new
I
higher
think
ceiling
she's
for
surpassing
Naomi is the
on Tiffany.
briefcase.
We can definitely
Dude,
set up a
yes,
feud.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
hope it happens. But let's go ahead and see what everyone's saying here. We got Oscar Lara who says, according to our truth, LA Knight is from Louisiana. Shout out to our truth's contract. And out of all of the releases, Santi, I don't think I've ever seen such a unanimous amounts of love and support from fans, from wrestlers, from everybody in the industry coming out in support of our truth. And the fans today chanting, "We want truth," and "What's up," and all of that. Very, very heartbreaking stuff. I mean, dude, like, what was your reaction when you saw the news about when you saw our truth speak? Dude, I thought it was a joke when I saw it. I was like, wait, where's the joke? Like, I was looking for the punchline in this.
Yeah, I thought it was a late April Fool's prank because it came on June 1st, April 1st. I'm 3 months late. Haha, I'm on truth. I'm silly. I got the wrong date. That's to have a guy that has this much experience that clearly is a big driver for locker room morale. Have you seen all the responses from all of the WWE superstars to our Truth's release? And I just can't help but imagine that this is such a negligible technique, and you are using him successfully. You are using him in a manner that fans really resonated with and people really, really like. What's also weird is that if you knew you weren't going to re-sign him, why wouldn't you take advantage of that and make the Cena Truth feud a loser leaves town storyline and help elevate and make John Cena a bigger piece of shit heel? Like it was you that killed Truth. And now, instead of being able to take that negativity, that negative energy, turn it into wrestling heat and point it at Cena, now it's just negative aura, negative energy at the product that we love. And now fans are trying to hijack the show, which, like, kudos to them, but it also hurts the women that were part of the match. They took over. It happened during the main event when it didn't have to be that way. Had they been smart, had a little tiny ounce of
The
foresight,
fans even cheered, "We don't
if
care."
you
And
weren't
then,
gonna
man,
resign
they
him,
cheered, "We don't care."
bottle that and turn it into
So they kinda
wrestling
hijacked
heat so that we could aim that at Cena, it would have been so much better. But instead, a foresight, a lack of understanding what fans want has led to this.
I'm curious about like how all of this has been decided upon because, like you said, the lack of foresight. Who at the end of the day is making these decisions? Like this is a TKO thing, a Triple H thing. Like how, like who is officially making these decisions? Right? I think we haven't necessarily gotten full 411
Well,
on that
that's a
just yet,
question
and
that a
I
lot
keep
of
thinking
people,
to myself
I
that
see
this
have asked
feels
for. A
like
lot
a
of reporters
TKO
have
thing
asked for
because.
that.
From
Like,
my
who was making
understanding,
the
they tend to
decision?
do this to
Like,
people that,
R-Truth,
when
after
it comes to like
17 years,
legends, I
like,
think they did the same
after
thing over at
17 years
UFC where they started
of
to let
R-Truth
go
in
of
the
the
company,
legends because
like,
they were like,
belonging
okay, instead of finding you an office job, it's
He's
like,
been in
okay, you're
company for
gone,
like
you're out of
17
here.
years.
And you mentioned the morale thing, and it's
R-Truth and
really
his
is
character
that. Like I
after
saw
17
people,
years of entertainment.
it's interesting because I think that
R-Truth, after the love and
I think
support
that
from
people should
fans, from
in the
people
company
that
should
they
always be prepared.
even
I
from
think at
wrestlers.
this point we have seen
They
so
didn't even
many
fan
situations of
backlash.
people being let
A lot of
go,
fans are
people
sad
being
that
screwed
R-Truth
over,
got
all sorts of
fired.
ways that you shouldn't be surprised anymore. That you should
R-Truth
always
was
have a plan B. It sounds horrible, but it's just the thing you need to do to protect yourself. So I feel like people seeing what happened to our truth kind of shows that no matter how loyal you are, at the end of the day, it's not going to be your saving grace, which sucks. And I started to think to myself, like, damn, at what point did they know they were letting R-Truth go? Because part of me started to think, Santi, dude, what if like the John Cena stuff was your last? Hey, we kind of started to get the idea that we're gonna let him go, so let's give him a last hoorah kind of moment with John Cena, like a going away type of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, that would kind of suck if they knew at that point that, you know, they weren't going to be extending his contract. I think that would suck if they did that for that reason.
We'll never know. Honestly, we'll never know because as far as I know from what I've seen, Truth found out after. Like this wasn't like, hey, we're not going to re-sign you. We want to run this Cena program to let you pay off all this stuff that you've been doing with Cena for a really long time. The history that you have, the Cena is your childhood hero. I literally think they wanted to run this program, look at the books, his contract's coming up. We're good. We're not going to re-sign him. It's just a bad look. It really is just a bad look. No, I'm not here making the argument that R-Truth is like the make or break of the WWE. But there had to have been a spot for a 17-year veteran that you could have found, whether it's backstage. Here's the thing: they were using him perfectly. They were using him perfectly to a T, based on his strengths, his limitations. They were using him wonderfully, and that's still not good enough. If I'm in catering, getting no TV time, and my contract's coming up, I'm starting to make calls. I'm fixing my LinkedIn profile at this point, baby, because I anything is possible.
Okay, so you were mentioning like, you know, roles for R-Truth. I actually thought there would have been two good spots for R-Truth. Now, mind you, of course, I don't know the inner workings of whether or not, you know, those were taken already or whatever, but one in particular was, okay, what's one thing that R-Truth is really good at? It's the comedy. It's the bringing the life of the personality in. Pandemic era, I remember watching those and they were hella funny. Okay, WWE is always looking for content on YouTube, on the Peacock, on all of these freaking services that they're on. You're like, come on, throw in the damn game show. I thought it was really enjoyable. It's one of the few WWE shows I actually watched. And it's like on top of everything, aside from the wrestling shows, obviously. So I feel like
give people TV
things
time.
like that could have
I
been
know a
like
lot
a
of people
spot
look
to
at it
fill
as a
for him
joke,
because again,
but I
when
saw
someone's
it as
with
an
the company
opportunity.
for such a long
It would
time,
give people
someone's so
TV
beloved,
time.
you want
Jobbers,
to make
local
sure you
talent,
keep that
people who
person
hardly get
around
TV
again
time.
for
I
morale's
gave them
sake,
TV
and as
time.
well as just being good to people that have been good to you.
17 years in a cutthroat
Well, it
business
wouldn't put me funny,
is
put me
experience.
R-Truth would put me funny.
I would say you can't buy, but they literally could. They had it right there. How you don't keep that around in a landscape where you have so much up and coming young talent is crazy. I think it's one of the most baffling decisions that we've seen from WWE.
Finally showed it today. We got Sucho here who says people gave Santi shit for basically saying Sammy is too much of a goody two shoes, but looks like Cross and Santi are on the same frequency. A true visionary.
All of his awesome heel runs. Let's not forget the great conspiracy theorist Sami Zayn.
AJ Styles' business.
Because WWE won't give him his own business.
Now, Stephanie McCare had a confrontation backstage with Rhea Ripley. Dude, it was too much to handle. I couldn't even handle all of that on one screen.
Oh, I couldn't handle that either. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at that and I was like, they kind of to the Judgment Day. Stephanie Vacher is fascinating to me, and stick with me here, because I feel like WWE has a chance to do with Stephanie Vacher what they tried to do with Finn Balor when he was initially called up from NXT. To the moon instantly within the first month of his time in the main roster. Except this time, it'll go better. She won't get injured, and we won't deal with the 7 years of agony. I think that they have a chance to redo correctly the Finn Balor push that they tried all those years ago, but with Stephanie Vacher.
So you're saying that instead of doing it with the demon, they could do it with the dark angel. Oh, I like that thinking. All right, I'm on board with it, dude. I loved this like confrontation with her and Rhea because I just thought to myself, like, dude, that is the future. And it was so funny because Kathy accidentally had a little mishap and she said WrestleMania instead of Money in the Bank. And I actually kind of thought it was funny because I'm like, yo, her future.
And with how much they're talking about this match, do we see a cash in here? Do you see Goldberg making an appearance here to set up the Saturday night's main event match in Atlanta, his backyard, his hometown?
I'm trying to think who would be okay. If someone was going to cash in on Jey Uso, who would be the one to cash in on Jey Uso out of those names?
Gracias!
No, but it would have to be. It would have to be a failed cash in
Give me
Santi.
seven.
Okay. I was about to say because if it's El Grande Americano, like that better be a failed cash in, right?
If there is a
Like,
cash in, I think it's seven. If there is a cash in, I think it's seven. Solo's interesting too, right? Because they're brothers.
I would hate seeing Jey Uso just lose just like that to Seth, though.
Yeah, you're not supposed to like that.
Oh, damn. See, I'm not in love with the idea. I'm not in love. But then it's like, why else would they be setting this up, you know? So, okay, Goldberg, I don't know. We thought he was going to come back at, what was it, the last show that we were talking about? Where we thought, it was Backlash? Yeah, Backlash. Sorry, there's been so many shows now. I can't even decipher the difference between them. Dude, okay, so they're thinking that people are thinking that that's going to happen at Great American Bash, right? No, not Great American Bash.
Well, there's Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night's main event. Thank you.
Yeah, because that's in Atlanta, right? That's Goldberg.
Yes.
Which is July 12th. That's and that would be counter programming the All In stuff, right? Because they went against All In head to head that night, and then All In moved shifted to the afternoon. So maybe in TKO's eyes, Goldberg is a big enough draw to change the discussion to Goldberg instead of All In.
I don't know. It's kind of hard because I feel like a lot of people have turned on Goldberg over the years. I feel like as every year goes by, I see more and more Goldberg tweets on my timeline. So I don't know. At some point, this has to get started. So I think you might be right because why else run this back? Why else run back James so and there's really no other explanation.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, we could see Logan Paul interjecting himself in this match. I don't think Jay and Logan is done as a program. Maybe it sets up triple threat match between those three at Night of Champions because that's around the corner as well.
Oh, hearing all of these show names, Santi, they're mixing them all up.
I mean, they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Oh my God. Dion here says, I asked Santi this, but now I'm asking you, what if El Grande Americano wins Money in the Bank and uses it to win the AAA championship? One of the things I want to see when it comes to this partnership, or not even partnership, this acquisition of WWE and AAA, is that I don't want them to treat AAA as a fourth brand of WWE. I want it to be its own promotion, its own thing. I don't necessarily want it to feel like a fourth brand. So that's honestly one of my fears. I don't want them to make it so WWE-ish because the fans will revolt against that as they already have started to revolt against WWE and Triple H and the decisions that they've been making thus far. Thank you, Dion. We got Bob Ross Jr. here who says, I hate how ever since WrestleFolks reported that WWE information on that. Okay, for months, I lost hope he's not getting a push. Do you think they're doing this on purpose, Santi? Like purposely not pushing him so that the fans could show more love to him?
They are actively.
No, that's my thought process on that. I think they feel like they just, yeah.
I think it's.
I think that's big, but I was at least expecting him to. Retirement was my ideal story. Yeah, I mean, I thought CM Punk was gonna win and make it into this match. I wasn't actually expecting him to win the actual Money in the Bank, but I was at least expecting him to.
Sorry, who would be Sammy and Punk's third? Can't
No,
be Jay.
Freaking LA. Like, get out of here. Hey, we got Grande Americano, a situation with the double champ.
Plus, when would you think Roman Reigns wins the title once again? Oh, I think it'll be a long time, Santi. I don't see him winning the title again anytime soon.
I don't see it either. Like for a long, long time. I think WWE wants their champion there for a long time. So unless they can lock Roman down for like a solid 4 or 5 month stretch, I don't think that he's going to be winning the title anytime soon. In terms of like worst case scenarios, I think it's Andrade winning. But why? That'd be random. And for the women, no such thing as a worst case scenario. Put it on anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Thank you, Jacob. We got Chris Dog here. Says Denise and Santi think Bianca or Jade will screw Naomi. If anybody, it would be Jade. I think.
Yeah.
I think it would be Jade. If anybody. Thank you, Chris Dog. We got Hassan Butler here who says crazy. I was just suggesting on Grapsity how R-Truth may retire with John Cena. Also, cuts are nothing new. Still mad that they cut ECW Originals 2007, 2008. Yeah, unfortunately. Dog here says Miz getting released soon. Unfollow X. I don't like to think that way. You know, try to think of people that will get released. A lot of people. I mean, here, shout out to their PR year. Santi, what'd you think of her? Would they be like? Why would they follow him? And both of those two. He's saying here says Carrion next week showing Target or OnlyFans. It definitely does. I think people would be very excited about that. Oh, we don't need to talk about the. Thank you, JJ Castillo.
He's gonna work his magic.
The next one. Bye, everyone.
Well, that was quick. Guess I'll just focus on the other ones here. We got Solomon walk the sound up. Let's see his for a minute.
Rose Sparks are guilty.
Alright.
You would want on time.
Well, there was pretty quick. See what Solomon had to say.
El Grande Americano. And the winner of this match would fill the final spot in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. That spot goes to El Grande Americano. He outlasted CM Punk and he outlasted AJ Styles on his birthday, no less, on AJ's birthday, to win the qualifying match, which means he is in Money in the Bank. And Chad Gable, of course, is in the main event at Worlds Collide that afternoon over at the Kia Forum. So he'll be making his way over from the Kia Forum along with Stephanie to the Intuit Dome for Money in the Bank a few hours later. Both of them are going to be pulling double duty on Saturday. Hopefully means a double payday for the both of them. I'll tell you what, as far as people pulling double duty on these shows, two things. Number one, they better hope that they come out of that first show unscathed. And number two, if there were two people who were going to pull double duty on these shows, I certainly don't mind it being Stephanie Vicaire and Chad Gable. I'm okay with that. If there were people who were going to do it, you can't find two better people to be in that spot. But what I will also say is, now that we have the men's field set for Money in the Bank, and we look at who's in there, and we look at who's not in there, you've got Seth Rollins, who automatically becomes the favorite, the predictable favorite to win Money in the Bank. And you've got LA Knight is in there, and Solo Sikoa, oh my God, Solo Sikoa is in Money in the Bank, and Penta, and Andrade, and El Grande. Not the most star-studded lineup that they've ever had for this match. One thing is very clear to me, though, as far as who should be winning Money in the Bank and leaving with the briefcase this year, and that is LA Knight. I said this the other day. LA Knight is someone who is at a crossroads in his career right now. He's stuck. He's stuck in the middle with no place to go. He is a man who on SmackDown has no sense of any direction at this point, no obvious direction to go in, no obvious championship to challenge for. I've talked about how he needs to move over to Monday Night Raw ASAP. But one thing that is clear to me as I look at this lineup, there is really no reason not to have LA Knight walk out as the winner of Money in the Bank on Saturday. He came very close a couple of years ago. He almost had it, fingertips away from the briefcase, and he was foiled at the very last second. And somehow he has maintained his popularity over these last couple of years, even when the booking has not supported him. You might even look at him and go, I don't know why people are still into LA Knight as much as they are, given what they've done with him, but they still are. And so now I look at it and go, do you have Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank and run around teasing a World Heavyweight Championship cash in? I mean, that would be the obvious, predictable way to go. But CM Punk was screwed out of a win tonight by Rollins and his crew, which still has no name, by the way. To me, it would be kind of foolish for CM Punk not to act revenge on them and cost Seth Rollins a win in Money in the Bank on Saturday. Why wouldn't he? Right? Why wouldn't CM Punk show up and screw this guy over? Doesn't make any sense. So it's a very simple solution here. Seth Rollins, as the predictable winner, gets foiled by CM Punk. LA Knight then becomes the obvious choice to win the briefcase. And now LA Knight can cash in on either championship. Of the two championships, more likely he would cash in successfully for the World Heavyweight title. But it's also a way to eventually, it doesn't have to be right away, but a way to get him over the Monday Night Raw. It all tracks. It all works. I look at it as now or never. He's at a very critical point in his career right now where he could go left or he could go right. Going left is the wrong direction. You want to go right. I hope they make the right turn with him and not the wrong turn with him on Saturday. As far as this show tonight, this being the final Raw before Money in the Bank, it was a go-home show. Raw, we still have SmackDown, obviously later in the week. It was a solid show on the whole. I mean, both qualifying matches were good. We had a good tag team match as well. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso teaming up to take on Braun Breaker and the newly slimmer, the not so big, that should be his new nickname, the not so big, Bronson Reed. The rest of the show, honestly, whatever. It was fine. I find myself, as I look at Money in the Bank, where we have 4 matches. We have 4 matches. We have a tag team match. We have 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. And we have a Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Could they add one more on Friday? It's possible. But right now we got a 4-match card. And as I look at this card, I find myself the most excited for and the most invested in the women's ladder match. You look at the lineup for that women's ladder match, it is stacked. It is a stacked lineup of talent in the women's Money in the Bank match. That is the match I am most looking forward to. The match I am least excited for, honestly, is the match involving John Cena and Cody Rhodes. John Cena and Logan Paul against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. I find myself struggling to care about that match. Out of all 4 matches, and I'm including the women's Intercontinental title match in that. That's the match I find myself struggling to care about. That's not good. You may feel differently. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, me too.
Shouldn't be that way. But that's how it be. We'll talk more about what the Money in the Bank card looks like as we go along here in this review. There is one more note, though, just to mention here. During the taping tonight, prior to Raw, they take WWE Speed, which is the show that airs on X, I think on Wednesdays at noon, right, is when that show drops. Anyway, during the Speed taping tonight, Lexis King was wrestling Joaquin Wilde of the LWO. And I don't know how it happened. I don't know what the spot was. But Joaquin Wilde got knocked out. He got knocked out cold during that match. He did tweet out later, he said, never been knocked out cold before, so a lot to process right now. But I'm good, no worries. So that's good. Because that's always scary to hear about. He's in a match at Worlds Collide on Saturday. It's going to be the LWO, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Dragon Lee. They're going to be taking on Aerostar, my boy Aerostar. The Lucha Underground days. Remember all those Aerostar vignettes? He beamed up outer space. Aerostar is on the card. He's going to be tagging with Octagon Jr. and Mr. Iguana.
Well, it
in a
has to be a
six-man
baby fan. It
tag.
has to be
So,
healed.
anyway, scary stuff. At least he's okay. This is your Raw Netflix review. It is the first review here for the month of June. It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Thank you for joining me. Monday night, I'm the Solomon. Like and subscribe. Super chats are rocking and rolling so far. I can see people have a lot to say tonight. Of course, we also have our active leaderboard as well in the live chat. Again, that's a new feature. It started last week. The new YouTube thing that they added recently, where you can be active in the chat and accumulate experience points. And so if you click there should be a community button or tab or whatever it is in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll tell you who's in the lead. It'll tell you who's in the top spots on the leaderboard. So have at it in the chat. Keep the conversation going, and we'll check in here periodically. But as I said, super chats are open. You will see them popping up throughout the stream, and I will be reading all of your messages a little bit later on. I also want to, if I can here, I did want to show you guys one thing which it already done so. Let's talk about this Monday Night Raw show. Hey, Alex is in the chat. He's podcast yesterday. I said, hide the women and children. Is that the Pacers are going to be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals coming up. So Pat McAfee, of course, is an Indiana guy. He's an Indianapolis guy. And he was healing on the crowd a little bit. He was getting some boos. And then he said, Cole, you look like an asshole. And that's how we opened up Raw. That led directly into CM Punk, his music hitting. And Punk made his way out to the ring. Punk made... And then he talked next about John Cena. It's the summer of Punk. So it was basically every summer, the summer of Punk. I feel like we went through this last year too, right? Forget the past. We've been through this before. So this is another summer of Punk. It's not going. But he said that it's time he got some gold around his waist. You know, there is a show called Speed that I just mentioned. Punk can win the Speed title. Tables have turned since Punk first got to WWE. Cena is now public enemy number one because he sold his soul to a bald fraud goof. And I wasn't sure at first if he was talking about Triple H or if he was talking about The Rock. I believe he was talking about The Rock. Punk said he's always had Cena's number. I'm going to come pick the bone, you little bitch. Punk said it's still all about the money, but it's time that he becomes a champion one more time. He does realize that. Again, Cena is on the other show, and unless he qualified for Money in the Bank, technically, because he's a Raw guy, he can't challenge for the WWE Championship. So he lost tonight. So I guess that means we're not getting Punk and Cena. I guess we're shit out of luck. Sami Zayn made his way out. He joined Punk in the ring. He said it came over. This place, this show looks like a very different place than it does right now. Zayn and Punk, they noted that Rollins has never beaten Punk, which is why Punk needs to win the match. He said that it's over if Rollins wins the World Heavyweight Championship, and for whatever it's worth, he wanted Punk to win. Sami said that if Punk were to win the World Heavyweight title, they would meet face-to-face in the ring again, and they would have a very different conversation. Punk said he looked forward to it, and they shook hands. So it was a hot open to the show. Fans were into Punk all night long. So from the opening segment to when he came back out later in the show, they were big time here in Tulsa, into Seattle. He was all fired up. Again, called out John Cena and The Rock. I thought Sami did a good job of just communicating the importance and driving home the importance of that qualifying match tonight. It's sort of the impending doom if Rollins were to qualify and then go on to cash in for the championship. I will say, though, apparently CM Punk had short-term memory issues. talking about how, Rollins has never beaten Punk before. And it's just a weird thing to me because not only has he beaten Punk before, he did it twice recently. He did it in the steel cage in Madison Square Garden, and he beat him again in the main event of WrestleMania this year. Backstage, Roxanne Perez interrupted a conversation between Liv Morgan and she was coming for her title, and Io said that wasn't going to happen. She's dealing with all kinds of drama. Addition to the women's roster here on Monday nights. Newest acquisition, Stephanie Vicaire. Yes, indeed. The Devil in Red has come to Monday Night Raw to Jacy Jayne. Let me repeat that. She lost her title to Jacy Jayne on NXT last week. Yes, I know. I know. We could have Stephanie Vicaire one-on-one with Mariah May. It's Ivy Nile. That got good heat. These people were not happy about interrupting the Devil's Kiss. I don't blame them. So Morgan hit Vicaire with Three Amigos, hitting the final one on top of Ivy. There were some counters that I think there were some people who came into the show tonight thinking that they would be overwhelming and it would be a constant thing throughout the show. I can't speak to how it was in the building, but maybe people who were in attendance would tell you that they were chanting it all night. It was not audible throughout the entire show. There were pockets of chants here and there because people have been very upset over the news of R-Truth being released. Shocked the hell out of me because, again, the news broke and Truth posted a tweet about it while I was in the middle of recording the sound off yesterday. So you got my real-time reaction to that when the news broke. And it really knocked me back because it's the last thing I would have expected. Not that he was somebody who was in a prime main event position, who was untouchable in that way, but he was one of those guys who was there for so long, 17 years straight, and was universally loved by everybody, and had been on television just wrestling John Cena recently on Saturday night's main event. Now, it was a nothing match, and they really dropped the ball. And I said it then, they dropped the ball with what they could have done with Cena and Truth. Maybe now we know the answer why. Maybe they knew this was coming well enough in advance to know we're not going to invest too much into this because this guy is gone. See, now it all makes sense. But there was so much more they could have done with this, given, how many years, lifting moves from Cena and copying his shtick and doing that whole thing. And they just sort of rushed through it as quickly as they possibly can. Now it actually makes sense. Why they did that. And it's a shame. It's a shame because there was more that could have been done with that. But, again, you hear over the last 24 hours, from so many people talking about what a great presence he was in that locker room. Again, universally loved, just a stable veteran presence in that locker room, even when he wasn't really utilized on television. And when he was, it was typically in a comedy role, which he did very well. I think it was very played out, and they should have done not just comedy stuff. So it's not like he didn't have anything to contribute to the show, but they let him go, and rightfully they've been getting a lot of flack for it. And look, if the fans are upset about it, and they want to go to the buildings and they want to chant for R-Truth, they want to chant "What's up," they want to chant "We want Truth," or "Justice for Truth," or whatever they want to chant.
I'm 53 years old.
Make your voices heard. That's your right. You have the right to go to the shows and chant for whoever you want to chant for. But I think people thought that there was going to be some sort of overwhelming thing coming into the show tonight, and it really wasn't. During the commercial break here during this match. Now, after the break, Niall hit a Tower of Doom powerbomb for a 2 count. Morgan followed with a double code breaker off the ropes to both women at the same time and covered. They had subtitles in the video for. This could go 3 or 4 different ways. So I'm very much looking forward to this match on the card.
And the best move
their tickets now. So yeah, 4 matches is pretty fucking ridiculous for the matches that we know of so far. But again, people, they're willing to pay. They have no incentive to change. People wanted to change. Don't buy tickets to go to the shows. Very simple. If there was that much anger and resentment about it, people would stop. Beating Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title, he said that the Money in the Bank approach is way too much. You know what? You should just forget about Money in the Bank. Leave it to Seth Rollins. You go take care of Dom. You can go after the IC title. Leave him. What did Heyman do to AJ that? And Rusev was even a groomsman. He slammed Balor on top of Donna, and then he was focused on Roxanne. Slam. Corrected herself and said, "Oh, Money in the Bank." Out to talk, Valkyria told her to shut up. Title, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. You have a personal issue between them. I mean, there's a lot of history between all the horsewomen, but she took this woman out of her match at WrestleMania, attacked her in the back, ruined her WrestleMania moment. That's really all the story you need to make this a grudge match. If you add the Intercontinental Championship, you sweeten the pot a little bit. But eats the foot, and he kind of spins as he falls down.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President.
Sure. Let me believe, will you? The one responsible this Thursday is when JD gets his Nintendo Switch 2 with Super Mario World or Super Mario Kart World. And I am, spoiler folks, spoiler, I am in the process of brainstorming, coming up with something to get Mario Kart Mondays to return. And you have Dubby to thank for that because she's got us a Nintendo Switch 2 on pre-order where we failed at acquiring one. So thank you to Dubby for not only tonight on the bomb, but the Nintendo Switch 2 that's coming on Thursday. So thank you so very much. I will keep you guys posted on the Nintendo Switch Mario Kart deal. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We'll figure it out. WWE seemingly does not have it figured out. I thought tonight's show was good. It was a lot better than what we got the last couple of weeks. Some people obviously are still gonna feel that boring, just lethargic, sterile, it goes nowhere type of show, because the big storyline on the show hasn't really progressed anywhere on Monday night. Tonight was the first time in a while that this new faction of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, all led by Seth Rollins, finally went somewhere. And they now have a direction going into Money in the Bank, where the last several weeks they didn't really have much to say about anything. Outside of Bronson Reed joining the ranks, they didn't really have much of a direction. Now, with 1 week to go until Money in the Bank this Saturday, in fact, we got a direction. Their agenda was clear tonight. Keep CM Punk out of the Money in the Bank. That was accomplished. That doesn't mean Seth Rollins is going to win Money in the Bank, though. That doesn't mean Seth Rollins is going to go on to become Mr. Money in the Bank again. No. It doesn't work that way. Punk wants Money in the Bank. Punk wants championships. Seth Rollins takes away all of that opportunity from CM Punk. That was the direction of tonight's show. And now Rollins is going in the heavy favorite, going into Money in the Bank. Main event tonight saw CM Punk fail against AJ Styles and El Grande Americano. He's going to be Grande in the bank. No, he's not. I'm going with LA Knight. I think it's pretty clear that they're going with LA Knight to win Money in the Bank. And that is much deserved. Where or when he cashes in that briefcase, we could very well see that happen on Monday, June 9th. We don't really know. But CM Punk failed. He was in a triple threat match tonight against El Grande Americano and AJ Styles. Fun little match. But I think the outcome tonight, a lot of people were going with Punk because how could you have Money in the Bank without CM Punk on the card? CM Punk is going to be there. CM Punk and or Roman Reigns will stop Seth Rollins from winning the briefcase on Saturday afternoon, and I do believe it will go to LA Knight. But they did set up the show very nicely. There was a nice sense of urgency tonight. CM Punk opens the show. Nobody gets the crowd going like CM Punk. The show just feels more focused when he's got a microphone in his hand and he speaks. He sets the tone. He delivers the narrative. He gives you a direction, and then we're off and running. We haven't gotten that the last several weeks.
And then we have
His
Philly
voice has
casting.
been sorely missed
If
on
this is
this
how
show.
you book
So,
Money in the Bank, I said
they
this
did
last
open the
year.
show with him.
I hear
He
too.
set tonight. I want
If
Money
this
in
is
the
how
Bank,
you
and
get
it doesn't
Money in
matter
the Bank,
who
get
is the
this
champion.
fucking
Jay
pay-per-view
Uso, your
off the
champion.
fucking
No hard feelings, brother,
I
but it's not
wanna see
personal.
Money-
I'm coming for you. And then John Cena. Obviously, we know the history between CM Punk and John Cena. John Cena will still be the champion, and we will get Cena and Punk at some point in 2025 before Cena goes bye-bye. But Sami Zayn, he was the wrench in all of that tonight. He stopped CM Punk and added a little cherry on top of the Punk Sunday. He basically urged and went out there and pleaded with CM Punk that he needs to win. He needs to win this triple threat match tonight. He needs to qualify. He needs to go to Money in the Bank and win Money in the Bank. Because of what Seth Rollins is doing, doesn't really it doesn't really feel like a takeover of sorts. They haven't really done anything, but they are in number the most dominant faction on Monday night. We need to take that away from Rollins because that's what he's done. And Sami Zayn basically said, when you win that briefcase and you win your championship, I also stated I'm going to win championships, and this is not going to be the last time you and I are in the ring. Next time it does happen, it will be under very different circumstances. So I did like the tone that they set to open the show. I didn't think Punk was going to win tonight. I was actually going with Grande Americano because I figured just in number Rollins' group, who still doesn't have a name, by the way, they were just going to be too much for the baby faces and too much for CM Punk tonight, and that's exactly what happened. So El Grande Americano is in Money in the Bank. We'll go over how exactly all that happened. I thought it was a great open to the show, and they booked end the show with CM Punk and the baby faces again falling short against Rollins and his new supergroup of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Stephanie Becker. She officially made her Monday Night Raw debut. Now, this is not her in-ring debut. This is her officially as a full-fledged member of the Raw roster, as she just lost the NXT Women's Championship to JC Jane. Yes, I watched. I watched a very mid NXT. I still don't know what you guys see in NXT. I legitimately watched it right after Jason and I finished TNT last week. You guys were raving about it. What an NXT
We
show.
can jump in thing. These are a new
I
thing.
still don't know what
And
you
it's
guys
made
are
a new
watching.
jump.
Yes, she lost the NXT Women's Championship to JC Jane. Yes, I did not stutter. Out of all the women on that roster, it went to one of the worst. So, I don't know.
Give me 7 minutes a day in the chair and I'll help you lose that beer belly. We start on March 17th. Here's the personalized plan of short
He's had a little bit too much of it. She's now officially on the Monday Night Raw brand, which is one hell of a fucking move for the brand and the women's division. I did not expect her to win Money in the Bank, but I did fully expect her to qualify because the match is better when she's in it rather than not. So she's in it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the best field of 6 that the women's Money in the Bank ladder match has ever seen. Stephanie Baccaire is not winning Money in the Bank. She did great tonight. She always does great. Always does great. Stephanie's not winning Money in the Bank. Julia's not winning Money in the Bank. Rhea Ripley's not winning Money in the Bank. Roxanne Perez has a chance to win Money in the Bank, though I am not going with her. Alexa Bliss is not winning Money in the Bank. Naomi is going to win. In my honest and humble opinion, Naomi is going to win women's Money in the Bank. That's who I'm going with. It's either Naomi or Roxanne. I don't think it is any of the other women in that match. So that is, I guess, my early prediction. We're going Naomi and LA Knight. Yeah. To win Money in the Bank. So yeah, Stephanie's on Monday Night Raw. She did very good tonight against Liv and Ivy Nile. That was the last of the women's qualifiers. Sami Zayn had a run-in not only with Punk but with Karrion Kross, who did not get a Money in the Bank qualifier. Fans were hoping that he'd take out AJ, or AJ would get taken out, or El Grande Americano would get taken out. That did not happen. That did not happen. Yeah. You know, I feel like my Alexa has just went on. I feel like my Alexa, my Amazon Alexa just went on because I mentioned Alexa. I hear music. Give me a second.
Well, then what?
Anyway, that was your Monday Night Raw. Hang on us, man. Yes, look at that. Miss that. My initial thought. I'm the type of guy that doesn't rush to get. Obviously goes crazy for CM Punk. So Punk comes in. SmackDown are not exactly where WWE likes them. Jay's got nothing to worry about. The title that Punk wants is the WWE title. He doesn't want the world's heavyweight title. So if he does get a title shot, it will certainly be against Cena and not Jay himself. Punk spoke about John Cena next. The tables are turned since Punk first got to WWE. Cena is now public enemy number 1 because he sold his soul to a bold fraud goose.
Trade CM Punk for Jimmy.
So we got yet another Rock mention, not by name, but
apparently
he said the same thing after WrestleMania, calling The Rock a bald fraud. Punk always had Cena's number. He called Cena a bitch and said it was time for him to become champion once again. Punk was done. He basically let everybody know what his priorities were and who he was targeting. Out comes Sami Zayn. Crowd chanted for Zayn. Obviously, everybody loves Sami Zayn. Zayn was glad to hear Punk speak so clearly about his goal of becoming world champion. Sami Zayn also has ambitions to become a world champion. Not right now, though. My prediction is if Sami still is a babyface, Sami wins the Royal Rumble. Wins the Royal Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship against whomever that may be. Against Rollins, against Punk, whoever the World Heavyweight Champion is at that point. Sami Zayn will be in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania. Royal Rumble's in Saudi. Sami Zayn is just too obvious of a pick to go and win the Royal Rumble. Or not win the Royal Rumble, I should say. That's my pick. Certainly not going to be Punk, because Punk ain't going to be there. If he remains true to his word, after he told The Miz to go suck a blood-covered monkey dick, or whatever he said.
Cody.
Yeah, we don't need Punk in South. He should stay far away from both Night of Champions and the Royal Rumble. Zayn was glad to hear about Punk speak so clearly about his goals. Money in the Bank is no longer in his sights, thanks to Rollins' new group. Zayn wanted to emphasize the importance of this match with Punk tonight against Styles and El Grande Americano. He told Punk that tonight is a must-win. Zayn knew that Punk was probably thinking about Rollins' group, but he couldn't be distracted by the group tonight. Zayn and Jay would take care of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker in tag team action tonight. Zayn warned if Rollins won the title, it would be all over because this place would turn into something they didn't like. We needed CM Punk to put a stop to that tonight. Zayn wanted Punk to win, but also wanted him to know that if he did win, and he goes on to cash in and become a world champion, they would meet face to face in this ring again, and their conversation will be much, much different when that happens again. Punk said, I look forward to it, Sammy. Put out his hand, and they shook hands. Like I said, this was a very good opening segment. Set the tone for the rest of the show. Gave the show a story. Why this is important to not only CM Punk, but to Sami Zayn, not only to both of them, but to Monday Night Raw. Why they need to do what they need to do. Who are the villains in this Money in the Bank build? And set up the main event and how important it is to the well-being of Monday Night Raw. We can't let Rollins get closer to what his ultimate goal is. You need to win. You must win to help us, to help Raw. Can't get any more self-explanatory than what they did tonight. I enjoyed it. They gave you check marks to all of your questions. So I very much appreciate that. When Punk is there, it just feels a little bit more important. His direction when he's there, Punk doesn't let these things slide. So this was a very good open to Monday Night Raw. Probably one of the best opens in the last few weeks that we've seen. So it's nice to see the show get off, started on the right foot. Roxanne Perez. She shows up in the back and offered Liv Morgan help tonight in her Money in the Bank. This video package was about her dream to be in WWE. Somewhere Tony Khan is crying over not landing second. There. They know what they have. They know her social media reach. They know how popular she is.
Well, I think I made this long enough. I won't make it too long. Mike will end the video. Until that time, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see more. Enjoy this video. I think I will do an AEW Dynamite review this week. I will do a SmackDown live stream. I'll do my Money Bank predictions on Friday, and I will do my Money Bank review on Saturday. It may be AAA, but yeah. So I'm gonna end the video. Until that time, I'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching.
How great she is, clearly.